If you truly want to understand basketball, you must know that it is a spiritual game that could be understood biblically, and that's how I know all the things I've taught you over the past couple of years. So SGA, he's a biblical bucket. He goes right and gets this switch. Now he has Jamal Murray. And let's talk about patience. Proverbs 14:29 says, "Whoever is patient has great understanding, but one who is quick-tempered displays folly." So now SGA in the situation. Michael Malone telling Christian Brown, come over, but get your hands out wide. Because we know SGA loves to go left, right? But SGA is not going to play into their games and just go left and pass to Wiggins on the wing. What he's going to do is something that is wise. He has great understanding because he is patient. He walks down, goes left, keeps his pace low, and gets back right with that spin because there's no help on that right side. And he brought himself down into a good range because he was patient. Now he's able to get that float and the bucket. How does SGA know when to pass as a score-first point guard? You must understand one concept in these next 3 plays, which is Philippians 2:3-4, which says, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourself, not looking to your own interest, but each of you to the interest of the others." As the point guard, you must always keep this at the forefront of your mind of when you play. So watch SGA in these next 3 plays. J-Dub comes down, and this is the first action they run. SGA's first look is to see if Jokic or AG communicate to make this switch, and can anybody cover Chet. Now, Jokic made no switch. He didn't get over the screen. No communication. He passed to Chet. He sought Chet's opportunity to score before he sought his own. That's the first time. Next time down, Jokic remembers, I didn't communicate 30 seconds ago and they got an open shot. So what am I going to do this next play, right? Make sure we communicate. SGA's first look is this action and they switch it. Why didn't he pass it? 1, AG's a better defender on Chet. 2, Chet won't even get an open shot because of that switch. Now what does SGA do? He continuously uses his eyes inside the arc. Players are still moving. Help can't get stacked up. So now he could be able to get into the middle floor in a one-on-one situation against Christian Brown because the first thing he did was seek things for his teammates. Right? That's the second play. Another time down. This is the third quarter, right? Caruso and J-Dub spot sets the screen on Jokic. They make that switch. He cannot do anything off the situation once again with AG on Chet. So now what can SGA do? He can now go and attack, changes his pace for a split second, gets AG out of help, and he's only able to get these buckets off of these plays because he first looks for his teammates to be threats, and then afterwards, he could become a threat. If you play basketball with pride, you will lose. So watch SGA. He gets off these 2 screens, and Russ ends up stealing the ball from behind, and SGA fouls out of frustration. Now, what pride will look like is if SGA decides to go down the next time and say, I got to go and score against Russ because he just stole the ball against me. I got to win this matchup. No, that's pride because you have an admiration and excessive love for your own excellence for a specific person. But when you play basketball, it's about unity. It's about what you need to do as a team so you can win the game and not about the individual matchup. For in Proverbs 16:18, it says, "Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall." Meaning that if you play with pride, it will only lead to a downfall. So how do you avoid prideful situations in basketball? You play smart. You use wisdom. So next time down, they end up running a set so SGA could get a switch off of Russ, and now he has Strother. In comparison to Russ, Strother is a second-year player and not nearly as experienced as Russ, not nearly as good on defense as Russ is. So SGA can now get into this matchup and attack wisely and get a bucket. The one skill all elite scorers have is not shooting, dribbling, or finishing. It's humility. You've seen how on a few plays ago, Russ stripped SGA. So a couple minutes later, he comes down, gets switched off of Russ again a second time, and gets Watson. And that's SGA showing humility. Why do you need to have humility? Matthew 23:12. It says, "For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted." Let's break that down, right? Let's break that down. What does exalt mean? It means to lift. It means to raise up. And if you try to raise yourself up, God's going to humble you like this. I guarantee you. You try to go attack that matchup, attack that one person you just want to get a bucket on, God's going to humble you like this, fast. And you're going to lose. You're probably going to lose your minutes. You're going to lose your spot. All those things going to happen. But if you show humility, what's going to happen? If you actually decide to play wise, what's going to happen? God's going to lift you up because you're not trying to say, I could do this on my own strength. You can't do this on your own strength. Even Philippians 4:13, I could do all things through Christ who gives me strength. You can't do it by yourself. You must be wise in these situations. So now when it comes down to SGA in this play, he has Watson. And since he has humility, since he's being humble, he's using his eyes, being smart. Watson shifts over to that right side because SGA is continuously seeking to help his team and see what his teammates are doing. He's playing team basketball in this situation. Now what ends up happening, he has the lane to the left, quick tween to that left, uses that left to get that lay and get a bucket. The best hoopers don't just have knowledge, they have wisdom. Now, what's the difference between knowledge and wisdom? Knowledge is just a simple understanding mentally of facts, whereas wisdom is your ability to carry it out in actual action. And the action part is so important as a hooper because that's what you're actually doing on the floor, applying it in a real game, in a real live setting. So when it comes down to SGA in this play, boom, switch off of Watson, and now he has Strother. And so being wise is understanding the spacing of the floor. Where can he attack? He has an empty right corner, Caruso clearing out, and he waits until Caruso gets down to that baseline, and he's actually a threat. So he knows exactly how the defense is stacked up. So now he has that empty corner, he goes right, attacks hard, uses that off arm, gets some separation, pump fake. Once again, this is wisdom, knowledge being applied because the inexperienced player usually is going to jump when SGA hits that pump fake and has a separation. So now what does he get? A foul and get some free throws.